Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we will look at how you can win government construction contracts. We'll start by looking into how you can register as a government contractor and then how you can find those government contracts, both state level and federal level. And then we will look at how you can write a proposal, and then we will have some tips at the end for you to succeed. Let's get started. So before we start off, I want to just talk a bit about the scale of the construction market when you're working with the government. So we have $451 billion total spend for public construction in 2023. The federal government spent $132 billion on federal construction in fiscal year 2024. And then we know that there's a good chunk of the public procurement that goes to small businesses, and the goal is around 23%. And then we have the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act funding, where the government will spend around $1.2 trillion over the next decade. So there are a lot of opportunities and a lot of money to be made in the construction industry. So how you can get started? Well, first you want to be a registered government contractor. And there are different ways. You can either pursue federal opportunities on SAM.gov, and I had a video where I covered how you can sign up and how you can get your unique entity ID, also known as UEI. You can check it out to learn how you can register your business. And then it could be very important for you if you are a small business to get your small business certifications. So if you are a woman-owned small business or a service-disabled veteran-owned small business, there are opportunities out there with set-aside codes that you can use to your advantage to have a higher chance of winning those opportunities. And then it becomes a bit more complex when it comes to state and local opportunities, because they have different websites. You'll have to go through each website and follow their process there. One of the most important things when it comes to government contracting is meeting the compliance requirements. When it comes to construction, we have contractor licensing, where you have to obtain all the appropriate contractor licenses for each jurisdiction where you plan to work. Requirements will vary by state and locality. And then you have surety bonds, and those apply for all federal projects over $150,000. They require performance and payment bonds under the Miller Act. What's good to know here is that states have their own little Miller Acts with similar requirements. You also have to consider that the SBA offers a surety bond guarantee program that will help you get started as a small business. And then, of course, you have to think about all of the insurance requirements. You have to maintain general liability, workers' compensation. We have also insurance requirements. You have really to dig deep into the contract, look at all the different insurance requirements and try to meet them as much as you can, or at least the minimum requirements. Examples would be general liability, workers' compensation, and builder's risk insurance. And then we have the prevailing wage laws. We have the Davis-Bacon Act that requires you to pay prevailing wages on federally funded projects over $2,000. And you will have to submit weekly certified payroll reports to prove your compliance. And of course, if you're doing federal contracts, you have the Federal Acquisition Regulation, also known as FAR, that you have to adhere to. So as you guys see, when it comes to construction and compliance, there are a lot of stuff to think about and to plan ahead for. So please keep that in mind. Now, where can you find those contract opportunities? Well, you have local opportunities in your county, state, school district website. You have different websites that are specific for each state, such as Texas Smart Buy for Texas. You have a state procurement website for almost every state in the US. Then you have federal opportunities that you can find on SAM.gov. Federal agencies publish solicitations on SAM.gov for contracts above $25,000. We can take a quick look at how you can search on SAM.gov. You essentially go to SAM.gov, click on contracting, and then click on advanced search. This will give you filters that you can use to narrow down the results. The keyword search option here doesn't always yield the best results. So what I usually like to do is I start by choosing the notice type. You can click on pre-solicitation, solicitation, combined synopsis, solicitation. And if you are interested in SOD, you can go ahead and do that also. And then here in the product or service information, you'll have to go ahead and enter your NAICS code. At SamSearch, we have created a blog where we cover all NAICS codes for different industries. And here we have the construction NAICS codes. We know that they start with 236. And then depending on your niche, you'll have to just choose the NAICS code that suits your business. Let's say that we are working with new single family housing construction. We'll copy that NAICS code. And then we'll go ahead here and click on choose this NAICS code, and you'll see that we have those opportunities currently available on SAM.gov. And of course, you can filter by date and so on to narrow down the results even more. In this case, we only have 2, so we don't really need to do that, but the filters here can be quite handy to use, and they are the preferred way of searching using SAM.gov. This is for finding federal opportunities. When it comes to finding state and local opportunities, we have a lot of websites. I have an Excel sheet here with hundreds of state, county, education, and city websites. Essentially, you can find an opportunity on most of these websites, but you really have to go into each opportunity. I'll show you at the end an easy solution for you to search through all of these websites using one single platform. Let's say you found an opportunity that is interesting for you, then you'll have to dive deeper into it. And you do this by reading the solicitation carefully. You'll have to download all the files you can find online, understand the scope of work, the deadline, submission instructions, and evaluation criteria, because there are a lot of compliance requirements involved when working with the government on construction projects. This is very important. You will have to pay attention to every detail. So this is one of the 2 opportunities that we found on SAM.gov. Here we see that we have the Department of Interior responsible for this opportunity. We can find, here we have the published date, the due date, and we have other details such as the NAICS code, any set-aside. You can also filter by set-aside when searching on SAM.gov, which is good to know. And the description. In many cases, you will find a vague description like this. So the real information will be available in the solicitation document. And here we find a single solicitation document that we can download and look at. And at the end, we have the contact information, the primary point of contact, and so on. I have actually downloaded the solicitation document, and you see that it is 148 pages long. So it is quite hard to read through all of these documents. And that's why you have to use AI if you want to bid faster and increase your chances of winning opportunities. And I will show you a cool solution to do this at the end. And then it is good to attend pre-bid meetings. These are often mandatory and allow you to see physical conditions and ask questions, so you can take notes and photos during these site visits. Of course, it is also good to develop a cost estimate to perform quantity takeoffs, gather subcontractor quotes, and include all direct and indirect costs. And what's important to note here is that for some opportunities, your pricing is the most important factor, and for other opportunities, your pricing may not be the sole important factor. So you'll have to analyze the opportunity and see if you can offer a competitive price or not. Finally, when it comes to government contracting, you have a lot of forms that you need to complete. So I'd recommend you to create a checklist of all the requirement documents, such as the bid sheet, bid bond, representations and certifications, subcontractor listings, and so on. So in order to win an opportunity, you'll have to have a past performance. If you don't have a good past performance, you can start by targeting smaller contracts under the simplified acquisition threshold. I made a video explaining how simplified acquisition opportunities and micro purchases work and how you can find them on SAM.gov. And then you can actually become a subcontractor if you don't think that you're ready to become the prime contractor for an opportunity. And this will give you some experience and boost your confidence till you are ready to become a prime contractor. And then you have the option of joint ventures, where you can form teaming arrangements with experienced contractors through programs such as SBA Mentor Protege. And finally, if you want to really build a past performance, you want to build an excellent past performance. So try to exceed the expectations on every project that you work on to build a positive reputation. So now that you have found a suitable opportunity, you have analyzed it, and you think that it is something for you, and you have your past performance, it's time for you to write your proposal. First, you'll have to think about your technical approach. Try to detail your construction plan, methods, and quality control. Those past performances that we talked about, they are quite important to highlight by showing similar projects with references. And then try to include the resumes of project managements and superintendents, aka your key personnel. Finally, have a management plan in place where you can present your schedule and project management approach. I added a small note here at the end specifically for negotiated RFPs. With this, I mean not just lowest bid contracts. And this can be important for you to think about. If you cannot maybe compete with pricing, then you'll have to write a compelling technical proposal to get an edge when submitting your proposal. So try to make your proposal easy for evaluators to score by using headings that correspond directly to the evaluation factors. To summarize, your path to winning construction contracts start by registering your business and getting all your certifications, and then finding the right opportunities, be it federal opportunities, state opportunities, local opportunities, and so on. And then prepare thorough compliant bids by writing a good technical proposal. And finally, iterate and use this to build your reputation. I just want to share some tips for success and warn you for some common pitfalls. Try to start local to build confidence before pursuing federal contracts, because state contracts prefer local businesses over businesses in another state, as an example, when compared to federal contracts. Try to network with other contractors and seek guidance from apex accelerators. Develop a specialty niche to stand out to contracting officers. In other words, excel at something. Maintain excellent communication with project stakeholders. You have your point of contact, as we saw here. You have your primary point of contact, in other cases your secondary point of contact. Try to reach out, try to ask questions, try to get guidance. Request debriefings after unsuccessful bids to improve future proposals. Without feedback, you will never grow. Common pitfalls: underestimating the paperwork and administrative requirements. I mean, we've just seen a 150 RFP document, so the administrative load is real. Ignoring fine print about liquidated damages and change orders. This could be one of the most expensive mistakes that you will come across. You will have to read through the RFP clauses as thoroughly as possible to avoid paying fines. And then failing to plan for cash flow challenges, overextending resources by taking on too many projects too quickly. You're just getting started. Try to build a good past performance record instead of playing the quantity game. And of course, there is a lot of paperwork, so there's a risk for you to miss the required forms or submission deadlines. So please try to pay attention as much as possible. I want to finish off by showing you how you can streamline this whole process using SamSearch. So using SamSearch, you can find federal opportunities, state, local, county, education opportunities, federal grants, SBIRs and STTRs, all in one place. It is as easy as clicking on a new button. I want us to find the same opportunities we found on SAM.gov. I think it had something to do with repair of exterior finishes. And here we can see that it has the same NAICS code as the NAICS that we entered. It's set aside for small businesses. I think this is it actually. For each opportunity on SAM.gov, you'll get an AI generated smart summary that describes the details of this opportunity. And you'll get a very nice layout of the whole platform. And here we can see the same solicitation that we found there. We can easily click on the summarize button to let SamSearch summarize the whole for us using AI. This is very handy when it comes to making quick bid, no bid decisions. And here we see a summary with the solicitation number, date issued, performance period, checklist for quote submittal. You have a very nice and short summary of all of the details. If you want to ask more questions, you can click on SamSearch AI, and our AI will analyze the solicitation document, and you can ask it freely, what is the scope of work, as an example. And our AI will look through the whole solicitation document and will try to answer us with relevant information. So we get the scope of work. And of course, you can ask it to do whatever you want. If you think that this is something for you, you can click on generate proposal. And here you can create an outline, which is essentially a table of contents for the opportunities you're trying to generate a proposal for. Voila, we get our outline with sections and subsections with a writing plan that we can modify simply by clicking on each section. If we like the writing plan, we can keep it, or we can change it however we like. If we think that this outline looks good, we can click on generate proposal, and SamSearch AI will take this generated outline and will write the whole proposal for us in just a click of a button. That was it, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. See you guys in the next one. Bye.